depends on the breath. Your body is alive because of the breath. So the body conditioner, kaya sankhara, is the breath. So tranquilizing the breath, I will breathe in. Tranquilizing the breath, I will breathe out. In other words, you make your breath more and more quiet, more and more peaceful. Initially, when you start meditating, you are a bit agitated. Your breath is deep. And then slowly, as you sit longer, the breath becomes shorter and becomes more peaceful. That's what I mean by tranquilizing, making the breath more peaceful. He trains thus, experiencing delight, I will breathe in. He trains thus, experiencing delight, I will breathe out. He trains thus, experiencing happiness, I will breathe in. He trains thus, experiencing happiness, I will breathe out. He trains thus, experiencing the mental conditioner, I will breathe in. He trains thus, experiencing the mental conditioner, I will breathe out. He trains thus, tranquilizing the mental conditioner, I will breathe in. He trains thus, tranquilizing the mental conditioner, I will breathe out. Stop here for a while. As he practices this anapanasati, slowly the mind is able to concentrate on the breath. When he is able to concentrate on the breath, the mind is not so scattered. It becomes more towards one-pointedness of mind. Then the mind is not so strained. Our normal mind is very scattered. Our energy goes out through the eyes to see, through the ears to hear, through the nose to smell, through the tongue to taste, through the body to touch, and to the mind, out to the mind to think. So because of that, we are very stressed. Especially if somebody is working the whole day, your energy is all out through your eyes and your ears and all that. At the end of the day, you feel very stressed, very tired. So if you close your eyes and you do your meditation, slowly, your energy comes back in. And as the energy comes back in, you feel your mind becoming more. It becomes a healthy mind, not a sick mind, not a stressed mind. So because it is not stressed, then it becomes one-pointed. Then this piti starts, delight starts to arise. That's the beginning of one-pointedness of mind. So after that, happiness, sukha also you will experience. Then after that, experiencing the mental conditioner. What is a mental conditioner? Chitta sankhara. Earlier we read, chitta sankhara is perception and feeling. Perception and feeling. Because when you have perception and feeling, then you have consciousness. Then the mind works. So the mind works dependent on consciousness, which also means dependent on perception and feeling, because they all come together. So when you experience perception and feeling, you breathe in and you out and breathe out. You experience perception of the breath, you experience a feeling of the breath. Then tranquilizing the mental conditioner, I will breathe in. Tranquilizing the mental conditioner, I will breathe out. You make the feeling calmer. As your meditation progresses, you become more and more calm. Your feeling becomes calmer and calmer. That's the meaning of tranquilizing the mental conditioners. Then he trains thus, experiencing the mind, I will breathe in. He trains thus, experiencing the mind, I will breathe out. He trains thus, gladdening the mind, I will breathe in. He trains thus, gladdening the mind, I will breathe out. He trains thus, concentrating the mind, I will breathe in. He trains thus, concentrating the mind, I will breathe out. He trains thus, liberating the mind, I will breathe in. He trains thus, liberating the mind, I will breathe out. This one, I guess, is a more advanced stage. When he goes into the mind, he is not aware of the external world. He's not aware of his body. As he goes deeper into the mind, then he experiences the mind. And then also the mind gives him gladness, gives him happiness. So that's why it says gladdening the mind. I will breathe in, gladdening the mind, I will breathe out. And then concentrating the mind. The mind becomes more and more concentrated as it goes deeper and deeper into the mind. And then liberating the mind, I will breathe in. This one, liberating the mind, because not sure, maybe liberating the mind from the klesas, the defilements and all that. He trains thus, contemplating impermanence, I will breathe in. He trains thus, contemplating impermanence, I will breathe out. He trains thus, contemplating fading away, I will breathe in. He trains thus, contemplating fading away, I will breathe out. He trains thus, contemplating cessation, I will breathe in. He trains thus, contemplating cessation, I will breathe out. He trains thus, contemplating relinquishment, I will breathe in. He trains thus, contemplating relinquishment, I will breathe out. It is, monks, when mindfulness of breathing is developed and cultivated in this way, that it is of great fruit and benefit. And this last part, I'm also not so sure. Contemplating impermanence, maybe when he withdraws from jhana, then he can contemplate impermanence. Because when a person has entered jhana, and then he comes out of jhana, then only he can contemplate. In the state of jhana, you cannot contemplate. It's impossible to contemplate in jhana, because the state of jhana is a state where the asavas, the flow, the uncontrolled mental outflows stops. That's why they are the steps to nibbana, because if you are able to stop your asava from flowing for a short while, then only you have a chance of stopping the asavas permanently. If you cannot even stop the asavas for a short while, there's absolutely no chance for you to stop the asavas permanently. That's why without attaining the jhanas, there's no hope of becoming liberated. So when a person is in jhana, in the first jhana, it is said that you only have skillful thoughts, you don't have unskillful thoughts. Skillful thoughts meaning, for example, when you have attained the first jhana, then you think, I have to remember to retrace my steps. Next time, how did I arrive at this state? I have to remember what steps I took to arrive at this state so that I can repeat it. That type of thought is not connected with your home, with your office and all that. Then in the second jhana onwards, from the second jhana onwards, the mind becomes so strong that no thoughts can arise. You start to feel as though you have tapped all the energy from the solar system, the universe. As you are able to get all the energy from the universe, the mind becomes extremely strong. Then no thoughts can arise. No thoughts can arise. So from the second jhana onwards, there's no thoughts can arise. So it is impossible to contemplate inside jhana. Only when you withdraw from jhana. When you come out of jhana, the hindrances are already eliminated. The state is as peaceful as in the jhana. Then when you come out of jhana, then you can contemplate. So it says, contemplating impermanence, I will breathe in. Contemplating impermanence, I will breathe out. Contemplating fading away. Contemplating cessation. Contemplating relinquishment, letting go. So that's the explanation of the Buddha on how to practice the Anapanasati. Now we come to 54.6 at Savatthi. There the Blessed One said, monks, do you develop mindfulness of breathing? When this was said, the Venerable Arita said to the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, I develop mindfulness of breathing. But in what way, Arita, do you develop mindfulness of breathing? And he said, I have abandoned sensual desire for past sensual pleasures. Venerable Sir, I have gotten rid of sensual desire for future sensual pleasures, and I have thoroughly dispelled perceptions of aversion towards things internally and externally. Just mindful, I breathe in. Mindful, I breathe out. It is in this way, Venerable Sir, that I develop mindfulness of breathing. And the Buddha said, that is mindfulness of breathing, Arita. I do not say it is not. But as to how mindfulness of breathing is fulfilled in detail, Arita, listen and attend closely, I will speak. Yes, Venerable Sir, the Venerable Arita replied. The Blessed One said, and how, Arita, is mindfulness of breathing fulfilled in detail? Here, Arita, a monk, having gone to the forest, to the foot of a tree, or to an empty hut, sits down, having folded his legs crosswise, straightened his body, and set up mindfulness in front of him. Just mindful, he breathes in. Mindful, he breathes out. And then this, the Buddha says, the description, just like what we read before. Breathing in long, he knows I breathe in long. Breathing out long, he knows I breathe out long. Breathing in short, he knows I breathe in short. Or breathing out short, he knows I breathe out short. He trains thus, experiencing the whole body, I will breathe in. He trains thus, experiencing the whole body, I will breathe out. He trains thus, tranquilizing the body conditioner, I will breathe in. He trains thus, tranquilizing the body conditioner, I will breathe out. He trains thus, experiencing delight, I will breathe in. He trains thus, experiencing delight, I will breathe out, etc. as in the 54.1 that we read. It is in this way, Arita, that mindfulness of breathing is fulfilled in detail. So this monk, Arita, he thought he is practicing Anapanasati, but the Buddha said that is not full development of Anapanasati. The full Anapanasati is consists of all those things that the Buddha mentioned. The next sutta is 54.7 at Savatthi. Now on that occasion, the Venerable Mahakapina was sitting not far from the Blessed One, with his legs folded crosswise, holding his body straight, having set up mindfulness in front of him. The Blessed One saw him sitting nearby, with his legs folded crosswise, his body straight, having set up mindfulness in front of him. Having seen him, he addressed the monks thus, "Monks, do you see any shaking or trembling in this monk's body?" And they said, "Venerable Sir, whenever we see that Venerable One, whether he is sitting in the midst of the Sangha or sitting alone in private, we never see any shaking or trembling in that Venerable One's body." And the Buddha said, "Monks, that monk gains at will, without trouble or difficulty, that concentration through the development and cultivation of which no shaking or trembling occurs in the body, and no shaking or trembling occurs in the mind. And what concentration is it through the development and cultivation of which no shaking or trembling occurs in the body, and no shaking or trembling occurs in the mind? It is, monks, when concentration by mindfulness of breathing has been developed and cultivated, that no shaking or trembling occurs in the body, and no shaking or trembling occurs in the mind. And how, monks, is concentration by mindfulness of breathing developed and cultivated, so that no shaking or trembling occurs in the body, and no shaking or trembling occurs in the mind? Here, monks, a monk, having gone to the forest, to the foot of a tree, to an empty hut, sits down, having folded his legs crosswise, straightened his body, and set up mindfulness in front of him. Just mindful, he breathes in, mindful, he breathes out. And here, the description is like before, the full description. It is, monks, when concentration by mindfulness of breathing has been developed and cultivated in this way, that no shaking or trembling occurs in the body, and no shaking or trembling occurs in the mind. That's the end of the sutta. This Venerable Mahakapina is one of the Arahants with great psychic powers. He's supposed to be a thin monk with a sharp nose. One of the four monks, when the Buddha went up to the Brahma heavens and emitted light, is one of those four who came to the Buddha. So his mind is very strong, so there's no trembling of his body and no shaking of his mind. When we sit in meditation, we are sitting properly, and normally we sit straight. It's only sometimes when the body is very tired, then we can't help it. Sometimes the body, stoops. Just like the Venerable Mahamoggallana, when he was practicing for 7 days and 7 nights without sleeping, he was already nodding. Then but he was still aware. When you are too tired, the body nods.